right, this composition is all about the geometry. Right here we have this mountain and this mountain, and then we have that middle round mountain. And those two mountains create almost like a triangle down. And then there's just a flat line of trees being covered in this mist and fog, and just a little bit of water on the bottom of the frame. It's fantabulous. That is our word today. Thank you, Robert, for commenting. Fantabulous is the word we're going to use today. I don't even know if it's a word, but I like it. That's what we're going to do. Absolutely fantabulous. Oh, man. I just can't believe this is real life. So right after I was done talking to you about that composition, I saw two bald eagles on a piece of land there. So I ran and got the 100 to 500, and I think may have gotten a cool shot. They're still really far away, so it's kind of hard to make them out. We'll have to wait until I get the shot on the screen. But if you follow my channel, you're probably wondering, you've never seen this lens before, and that is because you haven't. It is new. And I'm gonna talk about it in a future video, so make sure you're liked and subscribed, because I can't afford this lens. And I wanna talk about why I got the lens and how I got the lens when I can't afford this. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm probably gonna do that video tomorrow or the next day on this crazy journey. Let's get back on the road. All right, it's time to visit my friend Tim. My friend Tim, right here. Oh, we're in someone's way. Sorry. Hello, how are you? Good. Can I just get a... driving on the side of the road, and literally up to the road is this river, but it's so weird because it just looks like it's going through the forest. Like it's not in a riverbed, it's in the forest. Like, I don't know if you can see it. It's so weird, so cool, man. Fantabulous, absolutely fantabulous. That would explain it.
When you're lost and no one's there, and you wonder who even cares, oh, come back to your breath. Don't drift away from me. I will.
Just need to check if these got loose at all. Good. Paved road. That was 50 kilometers of dirt road, so.
I will come down to remind you of before. We can fly away from here. We can stay close, my dear. Swept up and away from all our fears. How are we supposed to know?
I have a question for you. Is it worth driving to Stewart in terms of scenery?
Oh yeah. You want to see grizzlies and black bears? Yes, definitely.
Okay, got gas and asked the guy at the front if it's worth detouring to Stewart. Sounded absolutely like that's where we're going, so that's what we're gonna do right now. He was super helpful, and that's why I love traveling, by just asking people as I stop in different areas if a place is worth going to, because they're gonna tell me a bunch of stuff that I'll never be able to find online. He told me all kinds of stuff, so that's where we're gonna go right now. Little detour, super stoked. Man, I love traveling this way, so let's get going.
How are we supposed to know on our own? Together we can go slow. Why don't you leave it all to me? I know how hard it all can be. I'm here to hold your hand through this. Whoa, I'll be beside you all alone. My love for you is so strong. We're right where we belong. Wander around the same old town.
All right, so yesterday I forgot to go over what we drove, so I'm gonna do that now. We drove from basically this spot in Houston, which is where we woke up, all the way to Prince Rupert, which is down here. And then I drove back a little bit, back into this fjord that's like right here where the Thyme is, next to Gamble Creek Ecological Reservation, or whatever that says. That was what we did yesterday, and that was about, as you can tell, 4.5 hours, 400 kilometers roughly. I probably drove more than that. I probably drove 450 kilometers to go back and forth. But that was about the detour that we ended up doing. So instead of coming up here and going north, we went all the way into Prince Rupert. So that's what we did yesterday. Now let's talk about what we did today, or where I am now. But I'm probably gonna save that for the end of the day, because I don't know if I'm gonna stay here in Stewart or if we're gonna keep moving. But there's something else I wanna talk about, so let's talk about that. All right, I have a story for you about how I ended up here on accident. I'm going to get in the car to tell you. Otherwise, I'm going to get eaten alive by these crazy mosquitoes. All right, so this is one of those stories that I will remember for the rest of my life, and it's one of the reasons I love traveling this way. You watched me go into the gas station and ask that really nice guy, hey, should I go to Stewart? And he absolutely convinced me, and I was like, cool, it's not that far out of the way. I'm just going to drive. And the drive was absolutely gorgeous. And once I got to the town, I filmed a little scene on the back of my car talking about the route that I took yesterday, because I forgot to mention it or talk about it in yesterday's video like I was supposed to. And my plan was, I left off on that saying I had something else to show you. And the idea was I was going to show you that I was going to go from Stewart to Hayter, which is this next little town over on the port there. And that town is technically in Alaska, so you can go from the Canadian border to Alaska without any border patrol, because that town doesn't go anywhere, to my knowledge. So you can just cross the border, and it's really funny because as soon as you cross the border, everything goes back to miles per hour, and everyone's tag is Alaska, and there's just like this tiny little town that you have to go through Canada to get to. It's very strange. At least to my knowledge, you can only get there via the way that I went. And I just kept driving down that road. And as I was driving down the road, I drove for about 6 or 7 miles following a river. And then I got to this like blasting area, mining area. And on the right, it was, I can make a right and trespass. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that. And on the left, it said snowmobiles this way. I was like, well, I'm not a snowmobile, but there's no snow, so I'll just keep going until I can't go anymore. That's usually my rule of thumb. And I kept going, and then it kept getting more industrial. And I was like, okay, this is probably just a mining area. I'm going to turn around. And I started to turn around, and I was like, you know what? I don't have anything else going on because of the way I live. Why don't I just keep going and see what's up here? And then I kept going. And then I kept going. And then I kept going, and I literally caught tears. And that is a very difficult thing for me to do, especially when it comes to scenery. And I know today's word is fantabulous, but I really have to use a different phrase that Dario submitted, which was holy fucking when I came around the corner and saw some of this scenery. I'm going to have to bleep all of that out, but here's the footage. I hope that it transcends through the screen as well as it did once I got here. You already know what it's going to be, but just look at this drive up here. I tried to capture as much as I could, so I hope you enjoy.
right, so now you've watched how I got here. I have sat here and waited for sunset. I think sunset's not for another 2 hours. It's 8:30. Let me check. Never mind. It's 9 o'clock and sunset is at 10:30. But as you can tell, it's about to crest that peak right there, which in photography terms means I get a perfect sunburst. So I'm waiting for it to crest that peak. And I think what I'm going to do is try to get down here to these trees and get a shot using the trees as the foreground and the backdrop as this glacier and the sun cresting the peak. But we're getting pretty close, so I'm gonna get down there. And I have my GPS with me because obviously I'm the only one up here, and if I fall, well, I'll probably die, but if I don't die, then I can at least tell someone I'm gonna die. So let's get down there. As I wait for the sun, I'll talk a little bit more about the composition. You might be wondering why I'm trying to use this tree with this nice epic background. And it's because if you look down here, there's all of this snow right here, and then also the glacier is kind of in shadow. And I want to use that tree as the bottom part of the frame to kind of give the viewer something to look at that isn't so ugly like this snow that's down here. And what that's going to do is just help my composition balance with the background epicness of these mountains and the glacier and not be distracted by this poor foreground. I'll show you an image without a foreground and you can be the judge and get an idea of how that composition looks without one. So that's my biggest thing is I'm looking for the background. Everything is going to be great. This thing is sun's almost behind the mountains. I don't know if this composition is going to work. All right, I changed compositions. I got the tripod out. Instead of using that tree that's over there, right there, and not really liking the composition because I couldn't get down there, I'm using this, I guess it's like a U shape of trees to kind of hide all that foreground like I was talking about before. And I'm not entirely sure it's gonna work, but there's a really cool S that the glacier makes as it comes up in the frame. And it might work. As you can tell, the sun is just now going behind that peak. So the light is pretty much gone on all this foreground stuff. And that's the shot. That's what we're taking. Absolutely fantabulous. What an epic evening. Just gonna end up boiling some water for dinner because it has been a very long day. Woke up for sunrise, then woke up again at like 7 a.m. and it is now 10 o'clock. All I've done is snack today. Transferring some files now while I wait for the burn off. Sun doesn't set for another 30 minutes, but there's some awesome color happening in the sky. And what I'm hoping for is maybe some nice blue hour tones, or something like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just over here making food and taking photos. Maybe this should be the new slogan for the channel. Making food and taking photos. Although I'm really just boiling water. So maybe just taking photos. Something else. I don't know. I don't even have words. Wow. Fantabulous. One nice thing about when it gets cold, all the flies just go away. So it's chilly out. Definitely gonna need a bigger jacket soon, but no flies, meaning I can just be without having to shut the doors immediately and be in the car. Ugh. Mwah. What an absolutely fantabulous day. Tomorrow there'll be a new word, so make sure you tune in. I can't promise you there'll be as much epic stuff as today, but man, I haven't been disappointed yet, so maybe there will be. Anyways, I gotta get some sleep and I gotta work on this episode. It's already 11 p.m. and I can't stop taking photos. I can't stop filming stuff. It's like a problem, but I have to because I need rest. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow bright and early. Hope you're enjoying. As always, if you liked it, like the video. If you loved it, consider subscribing. And again, see you tomorrow. Later.